Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Francine and this is my channel, The Hermetic Herald, here for another message for you guys. So if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for deciding to tune in. I'm really annoyed with this thing. I'm trying to just light some sage, there we go, so that I can clean out all of the energies from the other readings I've done and then tune into Niall. So I'm going to be doing a reading on Niall, Horn, and One Direction members. I want to see how he felt about them, past and then also present energies. What can we expect from Niall? In regards to music, in regards to collaborations, anything in the future that we can look forward to. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much for being with me on this journey and on this channel. There's so many videos that I've done, so many confirmations that have come through, so I'm excited to tune in again. I was sick for a bit, so if you notice that I slowed down on readings, that's why. So I'm feeling a little better. If you notice the residual cough, please don't mind it. Please don't I hope you're not bothered by it. I just really want to get you guys this information. So Spirit team, thank you for your assistance in bringing this information and confirming this information for so many people. Just as a background, I don't know anything beyond the readings that I've done for the most part for most artists. I don't typically know a lot about artists on purpose, because I feel like when I get really involved in information online, I tend to assume that I know someone, and usually I end up humbled by that because I usually don't, I'm usually not on top of it or correct. I usually can be very biased when I look at media reports and such like that. So I'm trying to focus in, and my goal will always be to focus in on what does the tarot say about Niall? What does it say about any artist that I tune into? So Spirit team, ancestors, spirit guides, spirit family, please assist me in getting into the energy of Niall Horan. Let's see what we can start off with here. They're guiding me towards something different, which is not the norm. It's to this card, to this deck. I'm seeing flames. So there's something that Niall's spirit team, his ancestors, would like to say for each of them. This is going to be kind of interesting because it's going to tell us what advice his ancestors feel, or what advice he would give to each of the members. So spirit team, yeah, let's look at this. What would Niall say if he could? And we're going to pull up the list here. If he could speak to Zayn, what would his ancestors like to tell us from the ancestor deck? So we have for Zayn, have courage. So there's something about Niall's spirit team feeling like Zayn is a very powerful energy, because when you have the have courage, that's coming from a place of feeling as though Zayn's lineage is very powerful, very powerful. Typically, I would think of warriors when I see this card. So his ancestors are warriors, fearless warriors, strong warriors. Okay, so they're telling Zayn, you need to have courage, because this is already feeling like the situation at hand. Niall is feeling like Zayn has been through some really difficult or turbulent energies. I'm just hearing turbulence. Okay, so there's a connection here between Niall's ancestors and them. They want you guys to know that. So let's keep going into this courage. What would you like to say? What would Niall like to say in regards to this reading about Zayn? Just in general, before we get into the past energies, okay? What would he like to say? Wow. So we have 3 cards. Even at moments and times and points in which Niall felt like he and Zayn did not get along or agree, right? Because we have the 5 of Wands coming up here. there's this respect about Zayn that Niall has. We have the Two of Wands coming through, which is usually about looking at something from afar. So Niall is looking at Zayn from afar, overall energy, okay? He looks at him from afar and he thinks, wow, there's so much in store for him. There's more to come for him. He knows that very intimately, that Zayn is someone that's going to be seen more than you've already seen him. He sees and purveys his career path. It's almost like a timeline for him. He looks at that timeline, Niall, and sees that Zayn is going to be producing a lot more, doing a lot more things, exciting things. So there's this energy of him saying, have courage, Zayn. Have courage to demand what you want, demand what you desire, because the King of Wands is a very determined energy, very determined person, very like in control, fire energy all the way. All fire. I noticed all of these cards are wands. So there's something about him seeing that Zayn doesn't easily stand for anything. Because what I see here is also the Five of Wands that we just saw, and the Eight of Cups, which is moving out of something it's not emotionally fulfilling, and it's like feeling like there's always better. So Niall feels like Zayn is typically looking at something and looking afar, like looking at what else he can do. He sees Zayn as someone who sees trends ahead of time. This is like, for instance, with certain artists, people that are trailblazers, that are doing music and making music for people in the future that aren't given their dues because people are not able to understand them in this moment. There's something about Zayn producing music, or will. I think this is a prediction I'll put into record. I think Zayn is going to be doing some music that's going to be really, really applicable to a lot of people 5-10 years from now. They're going to love it now. There's people that will understand his music, but I feel as though when people in the future listen to it, they're going to be a lot more impacted because they understand where he is. He is in the future. Okay, so Niall believes that about Zayn. He sees him as someone who can go far off and see things ahead of time. Beautiful. So this is a really, really eye-opening energy to be in. Okay, let's keep going and let's look at the the past. Excuse me. With regards to the past, how does Niall feel towards Zayn? Wow, happy. He felt happy towards him. He had a lot of joy towards him. Number 26. When I think of 26, immediately what I thought of was 26 letters in the alphabet, and like kind of like how you go from A to Z. I feel like he feels like Zayn has been there from the beginning, and that he feels like connected. He feels like from the beginning, from the inception of their group until now, he feels they have a connection there. Community. That's like a family energy. That's more like we're a part of something that we got to see the beginning and to the end. The beginning to the end was very turbulent, was very transformative, was very important for us in our growth, and we learned a lot of things with each other. So there's this energy with the bottom of the deck being community, orphaned, not for you. It feels as though the last two cards are the interesting ones, orphaned and not for you. Not feeling, there may have been times where Niall felt, excuse me, emotionally disconnected from the group, specifically with Zayn. However, it was not intentional. It feels like the energy of someone that recognizes later on in life that the reason why was because of some feelings that were harbored for a little bit. I'm getting the energy of like they were family, they were happy in the group as a whole, in terms of everything. Okay, we're not talking about specifics yet, but with regards to like the orphaned area, the orphaned feeling and the not for you, it feels like more like it was just his mental space at some moments in time. He felt orphaned. Now you can feel orphaned and not truly be orphaned. And that's something that's like mental health. It feels as though Niall had to address some things with regards to mental health at one point in the past with regards to Zayn. Like feeling like there was something there, but there wasn't. I truly don't see like it being an actual issue. Excuse me. Let's keep going. Let's see. With regards to the past, spirit team, please help us understand, how did Niall feel towards Zayn? First card out was strength, feeling determined. Feeling protective as well, which is interesting. Niall, he was older, correct? He felt really protective of Zayn. He felt like he wanted to hold his tongue, or to protect him from saying certain things, doing certain things that would affect the group or affect him, Zayn himself. We have the sun as his feelings. That's joy. That's feeling like a lightness about yourself, about a person. The Hierophant, meaning this now felt like he could respect Zayn in his art and his craft. The Hierophant is typically someone that's like has a higher level of understanding, higher level learning, higher level in general. What else would you like to say, Spirit, about how Niall felt? So many cards came through. Let's look at them. We have the King of Cups. Yeah. The Star. A lot of respect. I don't know why I was going to say respect. Respect and adoration towards him. Hold on one second, guys. Hey guys, so I had to pause back when I started out the video. I had a green shirt on, and my baby needed some things, and I wanted to make sure that I took care of him. So I decided to spend the rest of the day focusing on that, and then came back, or I'm here now on February 6th. So I believe it's the 6th. Let's continue. We had the Star as the last card, as well as the Four of Pentacles. The Hangman in reverse. The Ten of Cups. The Seven of Cups in reverse. And the Ace of Pentacles. So the energy that we're getting for Niall is primarily an energy of openness. You would think with the Four of Pentacles here that came through, that's usually someone that's holding back or trying to reserve some things, trying to protect themselves, trying to protect what matters most to them. But it tells me that that Niall rather had a hold on what he knew, his what was normal for him in one direction, and he felt like Zayn was a part of that. He felt like he could get out of deliberation mode. He wasn't set on trying to figure all things out. It was more so action-oriented love, because the Ten of Cups is here, the Sun is here, the Star is here, the King of Cups. You can't discount that those are really lovey cards. Those are really open. It's an open energy to experience, an openness to love, to kindness, to joy. So I'm feeling in the past, his energy was more so protective. I feel like, if anything, the Four of Pentacles indicated that he was protective of Zayn, and that he held on to him, or at least he tried to kind of protect him. We had, as we said earlier, the Strength card, which is about protecting and holding back, not from the person, from Zayn, but more so holding and protecting Zayn from other people. There's a determination about this card. So that's what tells me that he's more determined towards him, more focused in on what's best for him. And the Seven of Cups in reverse is interesting, because typically that's about illusions and doubts, like wondering about somebody. Is this person really who they say they are? He didn't feel that way. He felt a certainty about Zayn. So I'm getting the energy here of him just being open to Zayn, wanting to see more, wanting to be open to the experience of being around him, of getting to know him, and seeing it as an opportunity with the Ace of Pentacles, an opportunity that he's happy about. So this is past energy. Let's get into the current energy he feels. If you guys are enjoying this video and videos like this, where I go into One Direction among other artists and kind of go into more of their past and then also their present energies, please feel free to share, and subscribe. Doing so will help people see this in the algorithm, will help people know about this, because it's always everyone's first time with every reader, So let's keep going. Let's look at the present tense. How does Niall currently feel? Spirit team, Niall currently feel about Zayn. Okay, we have one card, Three of Cups. What? Not looking for negativity, but like I'm always happy to see that. Let's keep going. We have the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. I'm getting the energy of someone who's like proud. So it's like a Papa Bear energy. Like, I'm proud of you for how you're doing towards Zayn. We also have a couple of cards, Seven of Pentacles. There's something that he might have been impatient about, or like expecting, or he might just be impatient about them meeting again, like seeing each other, and like wondering, when is the day gonna come? When are we gonna get to see each other? The Empress is also how he feels. He feels very abundant towards him. We had a couple of cards that came through that did not turn over. So let's see. Two of Pentacles, finding balance. The Ace of Swords came through. The Hermit and the Queen of Cups. We had the King of Cups come in for the past, and now we have the Queen of Cups coming in for the present. Very like wholesome energy, very wholeheartedly like interested and like keen towards Zayn. Three of Cups is the first card we got, which was the energy of someone who's like celebrating with somebody. Nine of Pentacles is independence, so it's like this sense of like feeling like both have acquired a lot of things in their life, and they should feel really proud. He feels proud. He feels like he's at a place in life where he feels like he has the pentacles to back it up. He has the money, the financial abilities and gifts to back that up. Seven of Pentacles, as we said, feels a little bit like impatient. Like, I want to open up more with this person. I want to know how Zayn's doing. I want to see how he's doing. Empress is like the energy of abundance. Two of Pentacles with the imbalance. There may have been some imbalances with regards to what he was hearing, what Niall was hearing about Zayn. There might have been some imbalances where he had to kind of rightly like regain his stability with how he thought of Zayn. So there may have been people that were speaking, saying things that were really confusing to him, and he was like, but he quickly found his clarity on what he knew about Zayn. So there might have been some like searching, some heart, soul searching that he had to do. And he could also just have Virgo placements that are coming through, and that's why it's coming through in this way. Very intuitive, very like involved with his inner life, like figuring out like the root of people, not just like what people say and all of the glitz and the glamour outside of a person. My voice is like, it seems like my words are like tripping, so it's so interesting. Queen of Cups, though. Queen of Cups is what I really see in Three of Cups. So that's like a joyfulness about him with regards to Zayn. Is there anything else that we can learn? I mean, that's really good. I want to know, is there anything else that we should know? How did Niall, or how does he feel currently towards Zayn? What card would best help us understand how he sees him? Message in a Bottle, and we have one more, the Fates. So what's interesting is the 17 is the Star card. We got the Star earlier. That's about like destiny, feeling like he's destined, like Zayn is someone that he was destined to come into contact with in this life. Message in a Bottle is about wanting to talk to him. He wants to talk to him. Niall wants to talk and communicate with him, and he feels like he doesn't get the time to, and that's why I got the 7. When I saw the 7 of Pentacles, I thought he's looking for an opportunity to talk to him. It could be just to like shoot the shit, just to talk about how life has been so far. He really does want to talk to him. Round and Round is at the bottom of the deck. New life and a leg up. He wants to tell him something about his new life and about how the opportunities that they had in the past, or their experiences of like dealing with something, has helped him in the long run. So he actually wants to tell him something really good about what he has learned from his experience with One Direction. That's something that they want to bring up here. What is Niall healed thanks to Zayn? Like, just in interacting with him. What is Niall healed with regards to Zayn? It's all good. Seeing how everything, wow. You saw how we had the card Round and Round come in, and then we have It's All Good. Look at the imagery. It's like no matter what life has brought to them, no matter how many times they've spiraled or gone through so many different things, they've always ended up right where they needed to be. And that they have, it's like there's a peace that Niall has because he experienced life the way it was meant to be, the way it was, the way he wanted it to be. Meaning he could have like listened to all the people, other people's recommendations, and done everything right the way people told him to. But if he ever had a situation where he learned something the same way over and over and over, like I feel like Niall went through some karmic ties with people. Specifically, when he went through those karmic ties, he could have just said, this person's not good for me, I should get out of the situation, and that would have saved him some pain. But there's something about him experiencing some pain pretty cyclically with regards to One Direction, so something karmic about that relationship. Not all karma is bad karma. Sometimes it's like you learn things as like if you're a kid, if you're a young teenage boy in a group, you're gonna learn a hell of a lot. So there's something about like learning lessons over and over and not being like upset about it or feeling like you wasted time. You didn't waste any time. We also have home, feeling like having a place where you feel at home within yourself. Niall feels more at home because of something that Zayn did and how he contributed to his life. Now he feels more at home within himself. So there's something about Zayn having some words to say, some inclinations or feelings towards him that helped him learn. I can be my own home. I can feel at peace within myself. I don't need to find it anywhere externally. And I feel like that's a really beautiful thing to say. And any person who's able to do that in your life, you should pat him on the back. I mean, that's something that you don't have to intentionally do, but that's what he did to him and for him. So Niall feels really thankful for him. Self-love. So there's something about self-love for Niall with Zayn. Zayn exemplified what it means to love yourself and to be at home with yourself. Psychic development. I think Zayn has some psychic abilities that he may not even maybe fully tap into, but he's aware of. I feel like he's aware of it. And I'm hearing sirens, so those gifts are really powerful, Zayn. Okay. And in the relationship, let's look at the archetypes. What archetypes was Zayn in when it came to Niall? How did Niall see Zayn's light archetypes? He saw him as a detective. He saw him as someone who looks through and cuts through the bullshit. He really admires that about Zayn. He's able to see the truth in a situation. Excuse me. Oh, I hate coughing. Okay, keep going. Let's keep going. What other attributes? There were some that fell, but they like didn't turn over. I'd rather they turn over. That tells me they're meant for him. Okay, well, these fell as well. So there's Monk Nun. That one feels like it's for him, and Child Eternal. So Niall saw Zayn as someone who was selflessly devoted to spirit, to spirituality, to God, to a higher source, and he felt like he was the Monk Nun archetype. He also felt like Zayn was a child eternal, yet he was still young in body, mind, and spirit. He was able to see things with fresh eyes. Beautiful energy. What about in the dynamic between them, how was Niall? Like, what was his light attributes, or what were his tendencies? We have Engineer, very, very cerebral person. Niall was very practical between the two of them. He could redesign solutions, come to some resolutions mentally with regards to like certain problems within the group, and very, very cerebral. We also have Dilettante, loving the arts, so maybe being like specific to, like looking and fine-tuning little things in music, like getting to the nitty-gritty and the specifics that need to be done in a song, like how you sing, how you use your voice, facilitating all of the things that you learned. He's really good at that, and it makes sense if he's a Virgo or if he has any Virgo placements, because you typically, when you love something, you want to put your energy into getting to do it to the best of your ability, and it feels like he was like that type of person between them. He doesn't like it superficial. He doesn't like faking it when it comes to music. He wanted there to be authenticity throughout their process, and he was good at like fine-tuning certain things in their music. freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. He was very good at getting the hard things out, saying the hard things. Like if there were bad habits between the two of them, he was very good at addressing it. Niall was very good at exposing it and addressing it so they could talk about it. And I feel like Zayn would be like, I saw that too. You saw that? Okay. So I feel like there was a recognition between the two of them of the truth when situations like that would arise. Beautiful. So that's what I have for these two. I want to keep going. Let's keep going and look at how Niall felt with regards to Harry here. And if you're liking this video so far, thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I always like to go into this fresh, and I don't remember what I channeled in the past, just because it's too much to sit for an hour before reading and then try to recall everything that I said. I think it'll always confirm itself if it's meant to, so I just keep it moving. Okay, so this is usually just organically what I produce or what I get from the cards. Let's keep going here. I feel like now my spirit team wants me to move into these cards for Harry. So we're gonna look at what cards come through for Harry and Niall, how Niall felt about it. Spirit team, please help me understand. There's something about the sunset with regards to Harry and Niall. I don't know if they like to go out and look at the sunset. I don't know if there's something about the emotions that were triggered during sunsets. One of them, like cotton candy sunsets, and this is the color I was thinking of. So with regards to Niall and how he feels about Harry, we have exchanging gifts. How did Niall feel towards Harry's spirit? To the sea, emotional. Beautiful. Number 7 is significant. I don't know if 7 o'clock was an important time. Like just the time frame which would bring that sunset out and other things. Like it usually is before that. But like around that time in the day, later on. There's something about emotional release for these two. We have a lot of cards, but they didn't turn over. The only one that did turn over was Deep Knowing, number 43. Let's look at them. Yang. Higher power. And look at that color. That's like similar to the color I was thinking about. It's like a yellowish pink. Co-create, number 40. All that glitters. Number 16. A change in the wind, number 12. Interesting, I'm getting the imagery of a candle. Look at all the colors like aligning. There's like a candle that I'm seeing in my mind's eye. It feels like they light a candle for each other. You know, when you're trying to make a trip home and you're trying to get there safely, it almost feels like Harry leaves a candle out for Niall energetically. Where he recognizes him as a gift, both of them do, but I feel like they're trying to give me an imagery of like someone who has like a softness to them for the person. Niall has a softness for Harry and vice versa. There's energy here between them where they've opened up and tapped into more of their healing energy, more of like their emotions. And there's a deep knowing that comes with that. There's a deep knowing between them or a deep understanding between them. I feel like in the past, I'm being reminded of like a time where I mentioned there's like a pessimistic energy sometimes with Harry. Not like completely, but just sometimes he has like a tendency of getting pessimistic, and it's because he's real. He's more like realistic about certain things that come up. But I feel like there's a deep knowing of like there being more depth to life than just having a girlfriend or having a romantic relationship. But there's something about brotherhood between the two of them that's coming through, and I would love to hear and see what healing messages are coming through for them. Wowzers, look at that. What I saw, the card that came through, guys, was masculine energy. These two have like a very, very beautiful energy and aura when it comes to healing masculine energies in general. I just feel that emanating from this reading, a softness. And that's a beautiful thing, because masculine energy is quite a shining beam of light. When you see someone that's really healthy in their masculine energy, and they're balanced with their feminine, it's very well, it's very beautiful to see. Between them, they have such a beautiful aura. Inner journey. So there's like an inner journey that they've gone through together. Both have addressed their inner light, and their comfortability with their masculine energy. What has Niall learned from Harry? What else? We have Ascension. Wow. So this relationship was fated. Serendipity was at the bottom of the deck. Makes sense. Serendipity, clean it up, and milk and honey. What does that say except that this relationship was meant to show him something bigger about the grand scheme of life and things? Very transformative relationship, helped him ascend. Niall, it helped Niall ascend, and it helped Harry as well. Very enlightening, very beautiful energy. Also teaching him to learn how to let go. Teaching Harry how to let go of certain things in life. And I'm hearing the unattainable. So my camera decided to die there, and I wanted to take some time before I continued. So, yeah, we're going through all of the healing messages that Niall had with regards to Harry. Really beautiful. It's beautiful, the energy that they bring, because it brings a lot more softness to this reading. Zayn brought a lot more spiritual energy, more so like an openness to truth of a matter. I think they both really get along with regards to truth, Niall and Zayn, but with regards to Harry, they focus in on the emotional aspects of love as well. Masculine energy, inner journey, and ascension being the three things that Niall healed through his experience with Harry. So let's keep going. So in the past, let's get into the tarot here. And I just always want to remind everyone that this is going to be an intuitive reading, and that sometimes I use cards, but sometimes I may not going forward. I feel like my spirit team is kind of orienting me towards just listening and then telling you guys what I hear. And it may change from time to time. So you guys are going to get kind of whatever is meant to come through the strongest, what will give us the answers that we're looking for. So with regards to Niall and Harry, Spirit, what is the energy that you'd like me to address here? So we have 3 cards that already came through. We have the 7 of Cups upright. This is the card of illusions, coming to a place of not knowing what to pick. There's also an indecisiveness about this energy. We have the 6 of Wands next, which is I'm hearing air of like responsibility and success at doing and performing your responsibilities. It's about like having this like prowess in your career path. We also have death. What's interesting is this energy is coming through. This is Niall's feelings towards Harry. It's coming through as what Harry did in Niall's life was he brought certainty to him. He brought him like a sense of like purpose, of understanding. Like, this person's in my life, and this person is helping me understand like what it all means, what it is all for, rather than it being like a confusing time. Like, it could have just been purely confusing, because as a young adult, you're kind of going through different choices that you need to make. You're learning different principles. You are coming to the understanding of yourself through the process of meeting other people and through the processes of trial and error. You're learning a lot of things. And I feel like when I was in this group, he was learning that life doesn't have to be so confusing and so like varied. You can choose one cup and be happy and moving into that. Be happy moving into that road, into that choice, and not feeling like you've missed out. Which is why I feel like it's all good is very important to note here. It all connects. The relationship with each of the members brought about one of the 7 cups in a way. Of course, there's not 7 of them, but what I'm trying to say is basically each cup was indicative of something that he had to heal and address. What is interesting is that we have Temperance, Sagittarius energy, and we have those 2 cups. The angel with the 2 cups trying to regulate 2 cups and the water coming through. There's a lot of passion working with Niall, between the 2 of them, between Niall and Harry. But there's also this energy of Harry bringing Niall to a place of constant battles, winning constant battles, not causing destruction in battles. I'm talking about Harry bringing him to decisive places where he took a cup from Harry or some advice from Harry, and it brought him into more and more renewed success in his life. This energy is not learning a lesson or feeling like you're jaded by someone. This is the energy of balance, someone bringing you balance to your life. Wow, coughing quite a lot here. So the King of Pentacles is also here, and the 8 of Pentacles. Bringing someone also a lot of rewards, like monetarily, supplying people, supplying his group, Harry in general, supplying a lot of opportunity for the group as well, because of something that he shows people that really brings people, it draws people in like moth to a flame. Like with Harry, his energy is like a moth to a flame. I hope that makes sense. So he also was focused on his work a lot more with Harry. I noticed that. He was a lot more like hopeful, excited with regards to the projects. Let's keep going. Are there any little messages from the tea leaves that you can give us to help us understand them? Problems to be resolved. He brought problems to be resolved. He brought opportunities for problems to be resolved. I feel like he's a very good, quick thinker, Harry. Look at that, guys. Triumph over obstacles. Triumph over troubles, obstacles. He brought triumph over a lot of difficulties in their group. He was a little problem solver, I feel like. Period of prosperity and abundance. And then someone going out of your life or the end of a situation. Harry was a really big catalyst for certain people in his life leaving. So if you notice that it seems as though he went through a number of deaths with people, like endings of a relationship. Like if Niall cut off ties with exes and such, it was almost like he was the catalyst energetically. Because if Harry and him are healing their masculine, they're addressing their temptations or like the things that they used to kind of cling to make them feel good. Letting go of those things is what brought out a lot of endings for relationships. So if you guys notice that people were going out of his life at a certain point of time during the group, during their time in the group, with Niall specifically, if you saw people leaving or him breaking up with certain people, or at least having public displays of dissension or fighting about something, there was this understanding energetically that when he joined this group, he would learn certain things about his masculine energy, about his inner journey as a man, and about his ascension and trusting his intuition. So you're going to see that Harry brought that out of him a lot. Serendipity. It was serendipitous for them. So let's get into the current energies. What does he currently feel towards Harry? Because I see him feeling like Harry is successful, just a successful person, a great aura to be around. What does he currently feel? We have 3 cards. We have the 9 of Wands. We have the Ace of Wands. And we have the King of Swords. Interesting. Bottom of the deck is the 5 of Wands. The 6 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords. There's some indecision between them right now. Because when you look at these cards, this is about having different beliefs or feeling as though your path has taken you to another place in life. So at this moment in time, Niall feels a little bit more so protective. He feels a little bit more like he has I'm seeing a picture of a castle. He has his own castle set on some foundation, and he's kind of hesitant to try to shake it up because I feel like Harry brings out that energy, transformation, Pluto and Scorpio energy. So I feel as though Niall's feeling a little bit like, I like this foundation I have currently. I want to just continue to maintain it and build it. I'm not as open right now to it falling or to it changing, which was something he did repeatedly in his relationship with him in One Direction. That energy is coming through, and then him feeling like he would be willing to it's like the energy of inspiration. He would be willing to have 9 sticks up, right? Let's say this is the foundation of his home. He would be willing to take one and say, hey, how are you? Kind of like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I have going on in my life. But I don't feel like he would let the whole thing fall. There's a sense of like precariousness in Niall's life right now, energetically. He may be feeling a little rocky, maybe going through something tricky. It feels tricky, but not like in a deceitful way, more like there's some things he's learning as he's growing, and he may feel a little bit protective of that. So, and we have the King of Swords, which is him being honest and upfront and communicative. He would be willing to be inspired by Harry. He would love to see him. He would love to, it's like introduce aspects of his life and share how he feels. He's a very honest energy with regards to Harry. I don't see any deceit or anything negative with regards to how he feels, but he just feels a little bit more hesitant, more than he would have in the past. Okay, we have TikTok. He has a lot of things going on. Niall feels like he's trying to manifest something new in his life. He's focused on that, and he feels like he doesn't have as much time. That's what they want me to tell you guys. TikTok is notorious for, whatever that was. What time is it? Like, what do I have to do? He has so many things going on in his mind that I don't think he has time to think about Harry. And if he did, he just would like to just kind of like, lean into him and open up his ears to like options or ideas, and he would love to be inspired by him, but he wouldn't make any quick movements on it. That's the energy I'm getting. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, manifestations. He's working on his manifestations here primarily. Yeah, he's waiting on something else. He's more so in his like restful state, Niall. I feel like he has something coming up that's ramping up. And I heard Ceres, Ceres, which I know to be a drink, a fruit drink, but it of course means something else. So I don't know if he's just trying to like focus on like fasting or focusing on his food intake or taking care of his body more. Something about his health is coming through here. Okay, so that is what I have so far for Niall and Harry. Let's get into his archetypes. This one wants to come out. God archetype. Interesting. It says benevolence and compassion, recognizing the internal force within yourself and others. Beautiful. So at the head of this, God is at the head of this one. And this is more so like the energy of creation. Very creative energy between these two people. I feel like this one is for, who is it for? Spirit? Niall. He's the mother archetype. He is the one that's in more of his like feminine and opening up to what life has for him. More nurturing, very nurturing right now. Kind of is like in a gestational stage where he's trying to protect something. Yeah, look, Queen. Radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. So Niall's energy is very welcoming, very nurturing, very soft, very unconditional in the love that he has for Harry. So he's just kind of like, yeah, look at that, Samaritan. He's just trying to be very open to inspiration from Harry if he were to see him. But there's this energy of like preferring to do something else, like focusing on himself and his family if he has one. Like a family as if, as in like him having like a girlfriend or having a child. I don't know if he does or not. But just the idea, him focusing on creation, focusing on his family more than anything. Wow. Wowzers. So there was a YouTube video that just played, which is kind of funny. Oh my gosh. So if you guys are on YouTube, something about YouTube is significant here. So I don't know if Niall is going to be doing something on YouTube soon, like doing like an interview. For some reason that's coming through. But we have for Harry, Midas Miser. He is really good at acquiring the money, the creative abilities to do something big. Entrepreneurial gifts. He has a lot of entrepreneurial gifts and delight in sharing life's riches. He is also the goddess archetype between the two of them, which is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. We also have angel, helping those in need with no expectation in return. Very open to helping. They both have like a very giving aura to them. Niall feels more like he's focusing on himself, but it's not because he has some negativity attached to his idea of Harry. It's just him. He just wants to focus. Prince is also the archetype that Harry has for Niall. Romantic charm and potential for power. Wow. So Harry's feeling really powerful in this dynamic. Feels like a person who has like a lot of joy, a lot of excitement, a lot of things to bring to the relationship. But Harry is more so like, there's like an eagerness more so on Harry's end than on Niall's right now, right in this moment. Both of them are expressing the feminine energy, which is really beautiful, and that tells me that they have healed a lot of things with their masculine energy as well. So we have those two. Let's keep going. Let's keep it moving. I wanted to tell you guys, I'm really excited. I recently got this deck, the Galactic Heritage cards finally, and I'm really excited. It is this book that I've been waiting for and talking to you guys about. This will help me get better messages for like connections between people. And the reason why I'm not using it for this reading yet is because I need to take time to get my energies in it. When I say getting my energies in it, it's like important to tune in and to connect to the cards before you kind of throw them out most of the time, especially if you want deeper messages. And this is a deep book, deep card system, so I'm not going to just throw it out until I'm ready. So I just want to let you guys know that that's coming. So there is going to be a lot of deeper messages about like timelines. So like for instance with Harry and Niall, it's like what connection did they have in previous lifetimes? What was that connection like? Where was this connection from? Things like that. I will be able to tune into that a lot more. So look out for that. Look out for that. And that's going to likely be the exclusive readings that I do. We're going to have more in-depth readings like that, where we go into depth on how far this goes. Okay. Excuse my cough, guys. So let's keep going. What is the next one? We have my notes here. Next is going to be Liam. Okay. With regards to Liam, how does Niall feel? Interesting. I feel this card, this deck here. Let's start off with that. And this one too. But let's start off here. Spirit team, thank you so much for the messages that we've received thus far. Please help me in understanding and tapping into the energies of Niall and of Liam. Please assist us in understanding Niall and Liam. Wow. So we have the first card is Trust the Niggle, which is trusting your gut. So it says, what is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? So there's something about a gut response with regards to these two. What else, Spirit? We have the Great Gathering. It's all coming together, intuitive hits, and Soul Tribe. So these two are Soul Tribe. Okay. So Niall, there's some intuitive feeling and nudging that these two had when they met each other. Anything else you'd like to say about that nudging? Sisterhood of the Rose. So there's like an energy of devotion. You know, the energy I'm getting is that these two are songstresses. Their energy is quite open to the feminine. There's a beauty and devotion that they have to music that their spirit team is talking to them about. They likely also could have a connection to Egypt. So there's also the energy of like them gathering together this time around, coming into this life, and helping people cross a threshold energetically with their music. Something powerful is has come into the room with this reading. It says no, so there's something about them having to say no, either in opportunities or things that came across their path, or of them having to be patient with each other, because we have take a break, a life's work, not a season. So they came into each other's life, and it's almost karmic because one of them might have felt a little bit more rushed with the other. And the process of learning each other was not easy all the time between the two of them. There was a need for them to cross a threshold with regards to healing some things. And let's get into what it is, because we have Unbound, which tells me that there were some soul contracts and patterns that they had from past lives that they tried to address a little too fast. I feel like they might have noticed the issues. And if you're like a perfectionist or like a Virgo, if any of them have specific Virgo placements, they might be more apt to like trying to fix the situation or address it. And I feel like they had like a moment where they had to be like, no, we're gonna get really mad at each other, we're gonna go ape shit on each other if we don't talk about this later, postpone this. So there's something about that. These two are powerful energies. They are soul tribe, but some soul tribe members do encounter difficulties because there are some things they butt heads with. You can resonate with someone and still butt heads with them the next day. So there's that energy coming through in this reading. I'm getting the visual of like temptation hitting them, like them feeling some temptation about like an option or something they could have done. Oh my gosh. The Seven of Cups is notorious for options. It's feeling like, I'm hearing disingenuous. Feeling like you're disingenuous because you don't really know what is going on or you don't understand the other person. I feel like they felt they had illusions between each other and they had to take a break and say, okay, I don't quite know why I feel like you're someone I've known before, or like why I feel like I'm at odds with you right away, or why I feel like this negativity inside of me towards you. I need to take a break. They needed to take breaks in the relationship between the two of them. And this is me coming from a place of intuitively reading the cards. Feel free to tell me what you guys know, because I'm just getting the energy of like them having some times where they butt heads, but they had a feeling intuitively that there was more to the relationship or the story than just this life. It was definitely another life. So how does Niall feel towards Liam? I'm hearing school teacher. He feels like a school teacher towards Liam. He felt like he had to be generous. He had to be open always. He had to be communicative. But the communication was very direct and very quick. It wasn't like, let's break open each other's, our thoughts and our feelings and our dreams and our hopes. I feel like they just sometimes had to like say some things that were very quick and may have been hurtful. And then there was some mental instability between them because there wasn't enough communication happening. But we have the Eight of Wands. So after they would have that issue, they would have that doubt, that fear settle in. Like there's a feeling of like there's something wrong between us. They would then talk. It wasn't like proactive where they would talk prior. Which would really have helped avoid a lot of like misconceptions or doubts or anything like that. So I'm just getting the energy of, yeah, like intuitively they were meant to build a bridge together and to heal and to be like a family. Yeah, look at that, Four of Wands. So it's not bad. It's just the energy of, let's deal with what we have going on between the two of us as starseeds. These two are starseeds. I think a number of them are starseeds, if not all of them. I definitely think Louis is a starseed, because he was the first person that came to mind as I said that phrase. So there was some pain. There was some pain between them, in terms of like growing pains with each other. What is so that's their current energy. There was some like differing belief systems or patterns or ways of seeing things, but they were very communicative on them. I think they're both strong-willed people, both of them. What would you like to say, Spirit, in the situation here between them? Between Niall and Liam, what is the overall energy? Wow, here and now. So they were like kind of daydreaming in comparison to the other two relationships, we had everything upright. This one is the only one that's like the first one that came through, and it's upside down. This is feeling like off, or feeling like you're not present. You're kind of like looking afar. There's like an energy of them always kind of needing to hone in on the moment at hand and to take care of business in the moment between them. They were always kind of like going off into the future, or like there was a sense of avoidance between these two in some way. It's really interesting. What else would you like to say? It's time to take a nap. Yeah, they had to like reconvene and talk later. You saw how we had time for a break and we have time for a nap, guys? There's a need for them to kind of like in the past, especially during their time in the group, because that was when they spent the most time together. They needed that time to refresh before they could really talk about certain things. And if they did, like in the meantime, they would they would be very like short and abrupt about things. We're not going into depth on it. Yeah, someone needed to talk more a little bit, but maybe that's for the best, you know, in hindsight. They should always remain true to each other. The other one we have is peace. So peace was necessary. They're meant to have more peace in this life. They were meant to address the imbalances so that they could have peace, as we had with the High Priestess and the Ten of Cups. That is their birthright between these two people. On a soul level, these two are meant to have peace between each other. There was something that kind of like rocked them in other life. And I'm hearing dental, which is so random. But I feel as though there's something about teeth involved in like a past life. Like one person either was in the profession, or there's something about like something about teeth. I don't know if they fought in past lives and someone messed up someone's teeth or did something to them that affected their health, where their teeth were affected. That is so random. But these two numbers here, 23 and 24, they feel significant. Okay, so I'm back, and I wanted to continue into the healing message. Excuse my throat, guys. My voice, specifically. Let's keep going. What is their healing message, Spirit? Between the two of them was integration. We also have here ancient wisdom, which is the starseed. This is a deeper reading for these two. Ancient wisdom is coming through, and look at this. 33 is here with integration, and 34. 23 is here, and 24. Something about these numbers are significant. So we have reducing these numbers 5 and 6, right? We have 6 and 7 here. So they have some experience between the two of them of like needing to integrate their experiences from the past. And integration typically involves like going back to something in order to understand it better. So I feel like when we got the message about dental, something about dental records, or feeling there's like a connection to the body of these two in the past and their current energy. So I don't know if someone wronged one of them wronged the other. I would like to tune into that a little bit more, but there's something deeper to this message than just like this time around we didn't like each other that much. There's there's something else. We have forgiveness, guys. 23. Okay, we just had 23 earlier. So there's something that happened at 23 that was really significant between these two, and the number 23 is significant. 23 reduces to 5. Huge transformation. Mental transformation, mental agility is coming to mind. I feel like they had to stay on their toes, or they were on their tippy toes, so they had a lot of energy between the two of them in this group. And I think that came from other aspects of their experience in past lives. where they've had to forgive each other for something that one person did to the other. For sure, one of them did something to the other. There's a need for peace in this life. They will achieve it. I feel like they just needed to take a lot of breaks in order to take in the energy. Because when you're in the vicinity of somebody who triggers you, but they're also your soul tribe, it's really overwhelming sometimes. And if you live with them, or you're in an environment like a group with them, like you're seeing them all the time. You're seeing them during the good, the bad, the ugly. So I feel as though they needed time separate from each other a lot in order to understand and integrate their experiences. Because you just like someone sometimes without really knowing why. You dislike someone without really knowing why. And I feel like they had moments where they they felt something was there. There was more to the story than just the interaction between them. Okay. Is there anything else? Discernment. Yeah, they have discernment. These two are very discerning. They have a very discerning eye about each other. And I feel like one person really emotionally triggered the other in the relationship early on. And I feel like they had to learn how to forgive each other, because there was more to play than just this life. You guys tell me in the comments below what experiences you've had with these artists, with Niall Horan and with Liam Payne. Like, how have they acted towards each other? That'll give you an idea of what this means, because I don't know these two, and I feel like if I were to see their interactions, this would make a lot more sense. I feel like there's something more to that. So let's keep going though. What is Niall's current energy? Because it's not negative inherently, but it's definitely it's definitely enlightening for them to experience each other this life. The Hanged Man. Niall feels like kind of in deliberation about him still. We also have the Three of Wands in reverse, not moving towards someone. Temperance in reverse, and the Two of Cups in reverse. So this is the energy of someone who had some dealings energetically with someone before, and they feel off. Okay, so this is an interesting soul contract between the two of them. They kind of bring each other like chaos in some respects. So it's good to have someone show you this, because it means that you're addressing something, you're being honest. But the Three of Wands in reverse tells me this, they kind of discontinued this relationship, or they held off from like going any further, because there were some imbalances between these two. Yeah, they rested their case. When they disagree on stuff, they kind of rest their case, take a break, and then they move on. But the Ten of Cups is attainable. They can have that joy. They can have that completeness or harmony between each other. But I think they've always just kind of like butt heads in some way, which is interesting to see. Yeah, Five of Swords, guys. Notorious for like fighting, conflict, trying to be like the winner, but not intentionally sometimes. Ten of Wands is the energy of like a burden. Okay, a burden on each other's shoulders at times when it came to their career, and operating with each other. There was a little bit of like resistance between the two of them. And I'm hearing Liam. So Liam, wowzers, Liam did something to Niall emotionally in the previous life. There was something about him bringing a lot of doubt or a lot of instability mentally, and making him feel like he couldn't move in some regards. So, okay, I'm getting more information and insight than the others. So, between the two of them, Niall had feeling tied. He felt tied down by Liam, because Liam was lying about something in the past, in past lives. And he held something over him. And it feels like it was his child. He held his child over him, or as a child, made him feel very cornered and felt very like controlled in some way. This is specific to them, guys. You can definitely ask other readers if they can touch base on that, but there's more to that. And it has something to do with mentally blocking someone, or mentally like incapacitating someone. And this life, his karma, Liam's karma, is to address him again, to address Niall, to be in a relationship with him in the band when they were together, and to see that, and to have moments where he can't even think straight, or feel like he feels mentally torn, and he has to take moments of rest. That's literally his karma. So there's specifics here, but they are meant to have like harmony. But their relationship is very off kilter, okay? There's something about the inner child here, like healing needs to be done, forgiveness from the past when they were kids in another life. Okay, so that is what I have so far for these two. I'm gonna look at their archetypes in a second. Let's see. Spirit team, what else would you like me to talk about with these two? What is Liam's archetype? Liam is the vampire energy. Yeah, so he was the one that was draining his energy in past lives, or at least in one life in particular. I'm hearing questionable and share. He was very questionable in how he would share information. It was very tiring, very draining. So Liam has a tendency of doing that. His soul has done that before. Let's keep going. What other? This one wants to come through mother. So Liam could have been his mother. Liam could have been someone who was really nurturing, but also at a fault was like overwhelming and overbearing, and that affected the relationship between them. So if you notice that Liam seems like a mothering energy, but like a karmic mother, that could be why. What other archetypes does Liam embody? He's a scribe, preserving knowledge and information. That can be really annoying when someone remembers information about you or remembers things about you. Doesn't forget offenses. That might trigger Niall a bit. We have warrior, someone who has strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. A mentor, a father as well, a mother and father archetype. He could have been both. Meaning in one life he was a mother and another the father, but the mother was the karmic energy, like him as a mother to Niall, child eternal though, which was the same as Zayn's. So there's this energy of like being a mother and father, which is being grounded, or at least wanting to have a person, wanting to be that way, right? But then you're the child eternal, so you're very immature in some ways, in some respects. You're very combative with your kids, you're very combative with how you teach them. So there was definitely a karmic dynamic between Liam and him already. I can see that clear as day with the vampire archetype. Wow. So it was a familial connection between these two. What does Niall have, Spirit? We have advocate. He was the one that was like, he didn't like falling into line with what Liam wanted him to do. And this shows up in how they treat each other now in this life and how they treated each other. We have Mystic. He thought outside the box. He's not quite like Liam and doesn't quite want to be in alignment with same old, or what other people want him to do. Very resilient, like activist type energy. Innocence, purity, and redemptions, a special connection with the divine, and may have felt orphaned or abandoned. Child magical. Look how many child we have. Child divine, orphan, and magical. And servant. Felt like a servant to Liam. So this is past life. Niall has felt like he has been a servant and he could have even been a servant in addition to also being like, feeling like a servant because he was the child. Okay. I feel like he was a child he was a child in many lives with regards to Liam. Like Liam was the adult. Wowzers. So he was very compassionate, Niall. And I feel like his compassion was sometimes stepped on or abused between the two of them. So I can see that dynamic being played out between these two. Seeing the potential, he had so much hope and so much desire for better between the two of them. But I feel as though there's some beliefs that Liam has that he needs to break this life. Certain ways of thinking and believing and judging other people in some way. That's coming through. So that's what I have for him. I'm going to come back and continue on with Niall and Louie. I'll see you guys soon. Hello everyone, so we're back. I am back now. I am in the third day of doing this reading. This is only happening with One Direction because of how long their readings are. So let's keep going. We're gonna go into Lewis and Niall. So let's see what's going on with these two. You guys think I look tired? It's because I just woke up and got myself ready in the morning, took care of some things, and now I'm ready. So let's see, Spirit team, what would you like to say with regards to Lewis and Niall? What was their energy in the past, Spirit? Okay, wow. First thing I heard was rags to riches. We also have, I'll tell you what these cards are here. We have the Knight of Wands. Then we have the King of Wands. And then we have the Lovers. And then we have the Eight of Swords. Okay, I'm getting a storyline for them, which is really interesting. Between the two of them, between Niall and Louis, there's this energy of one being a bit less in regards to like how big they are in the media, because there's a little bit of a distinction between them. Because when I think of the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands, it makes me feel like someone who, they're both from the same cloth, like they're both very similar in the sense of they're both in the same situations in life, but one seems a little bit more determined, a little bit more major in regards to how people see them out there, society. So there's this energy of like, I know what you're going through. One of them feels like kind of like a tutor of some sort, and yet the tutor is not quite as big. So I'm feeling as though like Niall is the King of Wands energy, and then Louis is the Knight of Wands in this situation. They're giving me a storyline, so you guys can of course look into that and see how it connects. But they're giving me like there's that knight, that young energy that runs around, that runs into a situation, and then there's that person that tries to be like a protector of some sort. Or this energy is telling me that there's like two things that it's telling me right now, is that they're both very connected, as the Lovers card is here. They're connected by some aspect of their determination. They see each other. They see something in each other, because this feels almost like when you're growing up as the young knight and you grow up into this king, like you're remembering. So there's this energy of like just remembrance, an energy of the youthful energy ending or changing form, and both of them going through some kind of transformation. So there's two things that are coming through, and we're gonna find out like how this reading deepens, because it feels like there's more to talk about. So it's just starting off with a young energy and an older one. And you can always say, oh, it's the age, of course, but I go by the spiritual energy, like how they present to me. One could be older than the other and still be younger at heart. Bottom of the deck is the Tower, the Queen of Wands, and the Ace of Cups. They've always been pretty attracted to energies that are very fiery, because I'm getting the energy of both of them having like either a high libido or just a high sense of determination, and there being like this desire to pursue this Queen of Wands energy, this person who embodies that. I feel like likely their loved ones and the people they chose to live with or to be with are like Queens of Wands. Very determined. They could even be fire signs. If they are, that would confirm that for me. But there's the energy. Look at all these wands, guys. Like Queen of Wands energy and the King. Yeah, there's something about their energy being like very, very not forceful, but very powerful in this reading together. They are a connection. They do have a connection that's pretty deep. And I feel like they see each other. They see aspects of each other. And that's why this is coming through that way. We also have the Eight of Swords, which is the energy of feeling stuck in your head a little bit. I feel like they can get really like focused in on some energies that aren't as beneficial. No one's really bringing the other person down to earth. It's more so like fire, fire, fire between the two of them. So there's something about not having that balance that gives them the clarity to see. Okay. Let's get into one thing here. The work your light, because I feel like I'm getting a lot of messages for them. What else is there to say, Spirit Team, about them? Inner Earth, you'll survive this. So it's about their inner self, like their temple, their regulation, the regulation of their emotions, regulation of their actions. Something about them needing to find new solutions, and that's something that they both have in common. Finding new solutions and beginnings to life, because they went from the Knight to the King. They find themselves going into from boyish energies to like really strong and dominating energies. They're very reflective of the past as boys. Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. So there's something about devotion for them. That being true to yourself. Some people are not true to themselves in their life. They do what everyone tells them to. There's this energy of that not being the case with these two, but them feeling like they did what they wanted in the moment, and that brought what it did bring. And being honest and tuning into your heart space and what it wants, that makes sense with the Lovers. Yeah, so these two are very well directed. They're directed quite well, despite needing balance a bit more, because I feel like they get stuck at certain points mentally. They are pretty regulated in being true to their heart, okay? They still need some people sometimes to like kind of tell them like, you need to do this, you need to take care of your physical body and not just go running, you know, from like event to event to event. Pleasing other people and pleasing that part of you that really loves the drive, like music and such. But you need to actually take the time for your body. Like stuff like that. I feel like they get stuck in that area. Ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. So they're really busy rewriting the future. That's the relationship between these two. This is what they have in common. They're here to break some chains. I feel like they have some ancestral patterns between the two of them that are being addressed in this life. I'm hearing like drinking and like other things, other vices that they've had on an ancestral level. Yeah, and their soul tribe. It says take a break though. They need to take a break, and I said that earlier. I feel like they don't take breaks very often, and they both have that in common. They're both like of the same cloth energetically. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? So there's a need for them not to dim their light too in the process, because some people may not understand their light and understand who they are. Trust your path. So if you knew that you were supported or would be supported, what would you do? Soul family. These two are soul family members. Yeah, these are definitely two soul family members. They both feel like one is just a younger energy and one's older, or like both of them are like a family. It's very interesting how we have the whole family together. We have the Knight of Wands, the King of Wands, and then the Queen of Wands. Like, we got the family here. Just, they feel like family. So that's their past energy. That's how it felt between the two of them. Their advice is to not dim for anybody, okay? Let's look at some, they're a little different today. Let's work on some fortune tea leaves, look at what messages want to come through. We have older man, dealings or relationship with an older man. Is there anything you'd like to say about them? Beware of self-delusion. I feel like the dragon energy is like the fire. Sometimes getting diluted in their career paths by something, like getting really like gung-ho about something, or really interested and focused and determined. Please excuse like any way I say it if it's offensive, but it's like the energy of just trying to push past some physical boundaries in order to do something or to attain to something is coming through. We also have great happiness. Hello again, everyone. So I'm back. Let's continue. So we were just looking into the current energies and looking at the tea leaf fortune cards for Louis and for Niall. We have a couple of cards that we talked about, but this one came through as well, which is in need of help, assistance, and guidance. So this is what I'm talking about. With regards to the two of them, they seem like they help each other, and one of them helps the other a bit more. And this is coming from a place of learning lessons and then wanting to help the next generation or help the next, energetically, the person that looks up to you. There's some energy like that between these two. We have barrel coming through. You feel as though something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. One of them might have felt like they had like a barrel within their heart space. They felt like there was more that they wanted to do and achieve, and they felt like they had to ramp up the energy, which is what I was saying about the determination, like finding like there's a lot of drive. There might even be more hyperactivity like involved with these two. When they're together, they get really excited, really hyper, and very focused on their goals. So there might be that energy of wanting to fill up whatever it is that they're feeling like they're missing in life, and there's financial gain here. So that usually comes from something you did in the past, Dolphin. So that's the energy I'm getting, great passion between them. You guys, we have a lot of cards that are confirming what was already said here. With the energy, it feels the exact same as the cards that are coming through. So let's look at their dynamic with regards to their archetypes. Let's look at that. Spirit team, there's something about this card here. Is this for Niall? Yeah, that's for Niall. What are the light attributes or attributes dynamic between the two, whether it be light or dark? Let's see what comes through. So we have 5. We have child eternal for Niall. So we have the energy of determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit. And this is why I was saying if it's a dynamic between them, it doesn't have to necessarily be the youngest person and the oldest person falling into the standardized idea where the younger one's looking up to the older one. It could just be the opposite, where Niall looks up to Louis, and that his energy tends to be this child eternal who remains young in body, mind, and spirit, is able to see things with fresh eyes. So we have him being in the child eternal, and then the vampire energy, which makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So Niall has a reserve where he gives to people out of that reserve, and when he feels like you're asking for too much, he is communicative about when you're draining his life force. So he's coming from that energy. We have the child wounded, so it's compassion and desire to serve other wounded children. And I feel like this energy came through with Louis before in the past with regards to like feeling heartbreak or feeling this disappointment with people in Louis' past. I feel like Niall came in and swooped in and had that compassion for him. There was a desire to serve him and to help him through some patterns with regards to people in life that opened up the wounds. There's something about the two of them healing with each other. We have Avenger too. He likes seeing compassion and he likes seeing justice handled. Niall specifically. He likes to see the balance between people, the balance in justice with your time, energy, with what you put into life and into society, and it coming back to you. This is huge. This tells me a lot about his character. Messiah is serving humanity with humility. That is what Niall has. He serves humanity with humility. Now, with regards to Louis, with their dynamic, what cards would you like to present, Spirit? We have Child Orphan. He's been through some abandonment in the past. Between them, he's the person that felt abandoned by other people, and Niall sees something in him, sees him from a very compassionate point of view and takes his hand, and so to speak, and has this thing where he wants to build Louis up or to assist him in building himself up. Conquering fear of surviving for Louis. He conquers the fear of surviving and independence based on learning to go it alone. He's very used to going it alone in life. One thing though that is coming through is the child magical in reverse though, which is pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, which is the energy of someone who's been hurt so much, or someone who's had to have a thicker skin as a child or growing up, had to kind of look at life very realistically, in the sense of losing the magic of life in some regard, of experiencing certain things earlier on, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. And King, the energy of enlightened, benevolent leadership, wanting to lead people and wanting to lead, not lead people astray is what I'm hearing, which is like the energy of telling people the truth right away. Louis is a very straightforward guy. He likes to like make sure he tells you what's going on. He doesn't act, he doesn't like to sugarcoat things very often. Benevolence and compassion is what he also walks in, which is recognizing your kindness and the compassion within yourself and not losing it despite the people, the places, and the things that have hurt you and that have affected you. Okay, and it's a very strong stance. Not doing what everyone else has done to you or how they've hurt you, deciding to be compassionate and kind with the God archetype. And then we have bully, which is not letting other people intimidate or bully you. So he has that energy of like inner strength, inner determination between the two of them. Look at that. The father archetype was very well placed within the two of them, within their dynamic, meaning they felt like they cultivated a culture between them of positivity, guiding each other, focusing on their dreams and their goals, and of uplifting each other. Beautiful energy coming through. I want to keep going because I feel like there's more. What healing messages do we have for these two? I'm hearing op. So there's a number of words that their spirit team is trying to highlight. I'm getting more energy as of yesterday and today for some reason towards these two and towards everyone actually in the spiritual realm. It feels like I'm getting a lot more insight faster. There's a lot of words with ops, so opportunities, opposition, their experience, their relationship is highlighted by OPP, by ops. People that may have been OPSs or like people that wanted to oppose them, but also there's people bringing opportunity at the same time. These people may have tried to hurt or harm them in their pursuit of music, in their pursuit of their dreams, Niall and Louis, but nothing stopped them to a point. Like nothing could stop them. They were opportunities. They both have this in common. What did they heal? We have emotional release, allowing themselves to cry if they need to express the emotions that are pent up inside. People, there's a deck that I'm going to be using for this, for readings in the future, called the Galactic Heritage cards, and it was actually mentioned to me by a lovely viewer, and it's really deep. It talks about something similar to this, which is about the effects of I think they call it effects of the imbalance of positive polarity, which is basically always being positive and always focusing on the positive and ignoring the negative aspects of life and the feelings and your psyche that have negative things to bring to the table. Sometimes when you hold on to all the negativity, it bursts out of you, and it can also cause some issues with your body, like your physical body can go through some illnesses because of how much pent up you have inside. There's something beautiful about emotional release, and that's something they both do. They're both pretty good at that. I feel like these are next. Movement into balance. They moved very quickly into balance out of, I'm hearing reciprocated energy. They reciprocate this between the two of them. And then whenever they get into the Eight of Swords that we talked about earlier, like when they get stuck in their head, or feel confused or conflicted, they go right out of it. It's the determination for me is what I'm hearing. Like that term, like it's the determination that's really getting them through those moments of confusion. Okay. Sacred space. They have sacred space with each other, and we have anger. Sacred space for their anger. That's part of the emotional release. Getting the anger out of you. There's some inner anger that these two have experienced, and I feel like there's so much to this story. stripping illusions and divine timing. They definitely met each other and came to get to know each other at a great time, where they were both open and willing to open up to their anger, to make sacred space for each other, to be determined to work together, to be that positive force as a father archetype, in helping them empower each other. Very beautiful energy. This was just divine timing at work, and the anger that was within them, it sometimes, I'm hearing vaulted out, but it was meant to come out so that they could see it and address it and release it. Beautiful. Stripping illusions is what they're meant to do together, and what they did. So let's get into their current energies. How do they feel about each other currently? It seems as though they healed a lot. Currently, energies are the Empress, guys. They had the father archetype, and now they have the mother. Very nurturing energy. What is their current energies? Wowzers. We have the Devil. Let's get this out of here. Wow. Okay. We have the Five of Pentacles. And we have the Seven of Wands. I'm already getting a vibe. The Emperor is here. So the Emperor and the Empress are both here. And we have the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Swords. These two are not... these two have a great history with each other emotionally. I feel like what's happening here is they're basically protecting themselves and protecting their energy. When you see the Devil energy coming in with the Five of Pentacles, Devil is usually about temptation. It's about feeling addictive patterns or experiencing addictive patterns. Five of Pentacles is usually about like leaving people out in the dark. They're purposely leaving people out in the dark with regards to them ever meeting or talking or communicating publicly, for the most part, because they're defensive and protective of what they have. So I'm getting the energy primarily that what they do is that they maintain control by not exercising. They exercise restraint in talking publicly about things, but they do have this secretive energy where they do want to show and share the kindness that they have for each other, the love that they extend to each other with the Knight of Cups. And there's a balance between them. And I said this with you guys, the father and the mother archetype. We have the Empress and the Emperor. That's like the energy of balance, polarity. Like they're very well balanced as a result of their experiences in one direction. So the energy is secretive with the Seven of Swords. I don't see them like expressing this outward too much because it's a protective measure. And I feel like the Devil, when the Devil came in, I was like, what is that? What is that supposed to mean? What else is there to say, Spirit? Is there anything about the Devil energy here? The Devil energy, we have Judgment. Yeah, about speaking their truth. They're very afraid of speaking out and letting people create this, I'm hearing fantasy or prophecy about them. They're very, I feel like they're aware of each other's presence in the sense of like they are like they have intel or they know about how each other is doing in some way. But there's just this like battle or this differing of ideals with regards to sharing this with people. So Judgment, their fear is about openly addressing each other. There's some doubt there. There's some feelings of like independence. Like, nah, we can go it alone. We know how each other is doing. There are ways we can communicate without people knowing about it. Interesting. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this? We have 3 and 4 cards. Good luck. Horseshoe. Position of authority. They both are in their position of authority. We have Dark Man. So does one of them have dark hair? They're addressing them and they're saying trouble, accusations. Like I said, guys, they don't want people accusing them of something or of bringing up things and trying to say like there's more going on than there is. You're on the road to success. They'd rather stay on the road to success, focus in on their announcements, on their gifts, on the pleasure that they have. And there's an older woman that's coming up into this reading. This could be an older woman like a manager, or this could just be, let's see, who's the older woman? Oh, yeah, it's a manager. Opportunities waiting for you, financial pinch, lighthearted, carefree times. September is significant. Okay, so there's something about the future this year in September. There's like them focusing on their respective deals, because I feel like this older woman is like a manager who's trying to help them through unsettled times. There might be like them looking at checks and balances and trying to determine what is the best thing to do and when. So there may be something coming out in September for them. Specifically for, which one is it, Spirit? Louis. Something coming out for him in September, and it seems as though he's on the right track. He's focused. Changes are going to be coming into his life. I'm hearing Jung, so like, you know, Carl Jung, like children, something about his child, maybe focusing on fatherhood. There may be some more information that you hear about about being a father. News is on the way. So they're focusing on right now on their financial goals, attaining to it, specifically Louis, but there may be an essence or like a small window of opportunity where you're going to hear about them, specifically Louis, and about his work, or about an opportunity for reconciliation of seeing them physically. But as far as like communication is concerned, they're trying to keep that to a minimum to avoid accusations and trouble that people may try to interject or put into this. They're focused on their own businesses right now. So that's what I have for you guys. That is what I'll leave you with. And this is the end of the video finally for Niall. I had to go through this for a couple of days, but I think divine timing is always at work. So if you feel like you resonated with this message based on what you know of them, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Doing so will help people see this in the algorithm. Seeing this information will be so awesome for this channel. I'm trying to grow to 1K, so if you guys feel like you have watched me for a bit and haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. I would really love to have you guys as a part of the family. It is a part of the collective messages. When I do my messages, I typically tune into the people that are watching and the people that are subscribed. So if you feel like you want to support me in that way, feel free to do that. Click the join button if you'd like to become a member. It's as low as $5 a month, and I take your personal requests. If I've already touched base on a celebrity, I tend to close it unless I have a member that requests something specific. So I'm going to be doing requests for members right now, but I hope to see you guys here again, and I'll see you next time.